Welcome, Shannon, to the Real Estate by Relationship podcast. I am so happy to have you here with us today and so grateful that you took time out of, I know how busy you are. So I'm so grateful you took time out to chat with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I know that this is also video recorded,
Yep.
and I didn't even get to put lipstick on because I literally was making stuffed peppers, trying to negotiate things and that sort of thing. It's just kind of the real estate life. So
Well,
here
you
it is.
look beautiful. You look absolutely beautiful. Okay, so you and I have met really through social media, which I love, right? So originally on Snapchat, move over to Instagram, meet each other at Inman, became very, very, very quick friends. I adore everything that you do. I know you have a passion to work relationally, just like I do, but you do it with some different flares and different themes. And so I want to start out with, why did you choose to work relationally? Have you done anything else? Was there something that pushed you into working relationally? Tell me a little bit of the younger version of Shannon.
Yeah, so I started selling. I got licensed in 2010. I really started selling in 2012. I sold 3 big houses in 2012. And then I sold 30 in 2013, and it just kept going up from there.
Wow.
And I was doing some Zillow
Yeah.
marketing and partnerships with that. And I was doing well with it until 2015. I had a mini stroke and
I
I
did not
took a
know
step.
that.
Yeah, I had a mini stroke. I sold for one person by themselves, no transaction coordinator, nothing. In 3 months, I was 20 under contract. And I was like not being able to contribute to the household. And I said to my husband, that's it. This job is killing me.
Yeah.
I quit and I went and I worked for a large team here in Richmond as their admin. And 6 weeks into it, you know how you go on vacation and you get sick?
Yeah.
Well, 6 weeks into it, I was on the phone and I felt something was wrong. And when I hung up, I said to the girl behind me, hey, Heather, when I was on the phone, and before I could finish it, she goes, you mean blah, blah, blah? And long story short, ended up going to the hospital, had a mini stroke. Turns out I have a hole in my heart that I did not know
Oh my
about.
gosh.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a blessing in disguise. But for 7 months, then I went on this journey to get my health right, lost 25 pounds and all of that stuff. And after about 7 to 8 months of kind of being on this team, I feel like God put me where I was supposed to be because I couldn't be selling through all of that. I looked at the team leader and I said, I'm really good at sales, and that's what I was meant to do. And so I went back on my own, and I didn't want to go through doing Zillow and buying leads and stuff again, because one, if you don't have the infrastructure in place, you
Yep.
are literally flushing money down the toilet because
Amen.
anybody can get leads.
Yep.
Like people are always like, oh, leads are the problem. No, your follow-up is the problem.
Great
And
point.
so I said to myself, what can I do to really enjoy this business again? And so when I went back at the end of 2015, I said, you know what, I'm going to work with the people that I know, like, trust, that are going to respect me, because a lot of, I hate to say it, not all of them, but a lot of those Zillow leads, they were my problem children.
Yes.
They were the ones causing me
Yes.
problems. And so that led me down that path.
I love that. I did not know that story about you. So I love hearing that. Okay. So you came back, you started your sales career again as a solo agent, which you still are today. And you had a passion to work by referral and relationship. So tell me what that looks like in your business right now. I know you have some unique programs that you offer. Tell us all the little nuggets of gold that you can give our listeners that maybe they might want to pick from and apply to their business.
Sure. Well, what I did is I took the money that I was spending on Zillow, and I said it was about $50,000 a year, not just Zillow, but some other things. And I said, what if I took half of that and I invested it back into the people that I've already worked with? And so it started out with client events. We would do the movie theater. We would rent out a movie theater and we would do that together, or the reverse pie, which I still do to this day. Buffini. And I really just started implementing, honestly, Buffini stuff, but I hadn't known about Brian Buffini. I just kind of naturally did it. And I just worked that way. And then it would start to evolve into other events. Like we've done self-defense class with just women and girls. And that was awesome. One of my favorite things that we've ever done is, and I know it's going to sound crazy, a budgeting basics class, because
Love it.
we did that the year before COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I had about 5 clients text me saying, thank you for showing us how to get out of debt. Aren't we lucky that we don't have this to worry about things right now?
That's awesome.
So turned into that. And then, I started to implement other things, like a raving fan program where I have a tool, TOOL. I know I have an accent. Tool rental program. And when I say rental, it's free. But, when you work with me, buyer, seller, even in my sphere, you have access to things like a power washer, a Sawzall, a rug scrubber. We have a 5x8 utility trailer that you can borrow that people go and get mulch. And I mean, I have a whole host of stuff. There's a lot of things. So we have that. And then that kind of morphed into, also, I started calling vendors. And I'm like, hey, I need a reason to call my people, not asking, hey, Barb, who do you know is looking to buy, sell, and invest in real estate? And so I said to them, like Bob at 360 Plumbing, I said, hey, Bob, listen, I need to call about 200 of my clients. I need a reason to call. Can I offer them a discount? I don't know if they'll ever use it, but they can use the code like RVA Home Team. And I have 33 vendors that offer discounts.
I love that.
And gives me a reason to call. The vendors love me, and then they give me preferential treatment because I'm sending them business. My clients love me because I'm giving them access to stuff and a discount and showing value. I hate to use the word value, but
it's really true. We have to provide the value.
Yeah, showing some value there. And and then in the last 2 years, I've taken that, like, how can I outdo myself now? How can I really have a wow +1 experience? And so now what we've done is we systemize it. So let's say you come and you want to buy a house.
Okay.
When I first talk with you on Zoom, just like this, we do our buyer consult. I send you a handwritten note. Now, you and I both know that people are like, oh, that's so novel. Yeah, it is. People don't get this.
But no one's doing it. And when you do it, you stand out exponentially above your competition.
100%. Nobody's doing it. So I do a handwritten note. And then I meet you at the first house for our first tour. And I give you this gift bag, nothing fancy.
Okay. What's in it?
So in it is a 16-page buyer booklet brochure that I wrote with commonly asked questions because I got tired of answering the same ones.
Love it.
I have a custom coloring book that I picked out all of these landmarks in Richmond, and I wrote a 2-sentence thing under each one. So it kind of is like a tour guide. And
Such
by
a
the
good
way,
idea. Such a good idea.
The first page is me in a coloring book form standing in front of a Tudor style home talking about the architecture of Richmond. And then the rest are landmarks.
Love that.
You can get that at Curious Custom. I get nothing for it, but you could go to Curious Custom. They do it. So you get that. And then I put like 2 bottles of water, a handful of Hershey Kisses, some beef jerky, and whatever treat I might have, and a pack of crayons that I get from the dollar store for the coloring book. And I put it all in there. And you get that. So then we get you under contract. And now I've partnered with a local bakery. All I do is I email them the name and the address, and they send them a dozen cookies. And I say, congrats for getting under contract. Isn't it sweet? So then we get through inspection and appraisals. And then I I go to Amazon. I don't overthink it now. I used to overthink it. And I send that tape gun. And I say, congrats on getting through inspection and appraisals. It's time to get your bags packing.
Love it.
And then when we close, then we do some kind of customized gift. Like lately I've been sending meal prep, like already done meals to people because moving's stressful. And now we've added to that for the referrals from agents as well. Not only are you going to get your referral, but now we've added Wicked Good cupcakes, and we send that saying it was wicked good of you to, think of me. I enjoyed it, whatever. And that's kind of like the program that we've put into place.
You just gave so many nuggets in one fell swoop, but I love at the beginning what you called it. You called it the wow +1. Break that down for me. Wow +1, like always trying to like wow, and then the next time go one above. So you're just constantly showing up.
Yes, because customer service is expected. That should be your wow, right? Like that's expected, but customer experience is that +1. So
Mm,
what experience are you giving people? Because it's true. Like, let's be honest for a second. Real estate agents are more than a dime a dozen, right? Like they're a quarter a dozen anymore. So what makes you stand out? Why should somebody pick you over Sarah or John or Tim? And I will tell you, when I go through some of these things, now I don't tell people about like the bags and stuff when I go on a listing appointment
of
because
course.
that doesn't pertain. But I do talk to them about my tool rental program, my discount program. And if it's between me and Johnny, often I'll get the listing because I not only wowed them, Johnny wowed them too, but I +1.
Love it. Love it. Okay, repeat that again. You said customer service is expected.
Yes, but the customer experience is your +1.
That is, write that down. Unless you're driving, of course. If you're driving, don't write it down. I love that. Customer service is expected. The customer experience is the +1. That's how you're wanting up everybody. That is so good, so good, so good. What does it look like for sellers? Is there a plan for sellers?
It's very similar. So after the listing agreement signed, it's the handwritten note.
Yep.
And then once we get under contract, they get the cookies. Once we get through the inspection, they also get the tape because it's still relevant, because they're doing their boxes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for closing gifts, that's where it gets a little different. So either sometimes I'll do the wicked good, it depends on the person. But if they're moving away and I know where they're going, and normally I do, what I like to do is I like to go to Yelp or what's the other one? TripAdvisor.
Yep.
And look up the top 10 best restaurants in that area. You call up the restaurant and you ask them to either mail your client to their new address, or I've had restaurants actually hold it. And then I send a note saying, hey, if you go to Mama Zita's, in Washington, they have a $100 gift card waiting for you there. And that has made a difference too, because people forget to give the seller something when they're moving away. Y'all, they have friends.
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. That's
So
amazing.
love to do that.
Now
And it makes me feel good.
you're systematized as a one girl shop. How are you getting all this done, my friend?
Okay, so let me back up. Buyer agent, come and go, come and go, come and go. I've had that. I'm getting off that
Yes.
wheel right now. I can't do it anymore. So I'm looking to hire what I call a client chaos coordinator.
Yep.
That is going to be my next hire,
Yep.
who is going to help me with this stuff. Now, for now, I have it in Trello, and every client has a card, and I just go through and check it once I do it. And not gonna lie, I do it right now. I am the therapist. I'm the admin. I'm the marketing person.
Right?
I'm the star agent, and I don't mean that in a good way. Somebody once said that to me back in like 2014, and I thought it was a compliment. It's not a compliment because I'm here.
It's exhausting.
So it is, but that's going to be my next hire. So do I fall short sometimes? Sure.
Yeah.
Of course, every now and again, but I'm pretty good at getting those items of value out. And you know what's really cool? Can I tell you a real quick story?
Absolutely.
So when I was in 9th grade, I became co-captain majorette. And the co-captain got to do their feature on the field at the first game. And then the captain got to go at the very last game.
Okay.
So the first game, the captain comes up to me and she gives me flowers. And I was like, oh, that's awesome, for doing my solo.
Yeah.
Well, for the next subsequent like 10 games, when there would be another majorette, I watched her give them flowers. Well, when the captain was done, when she was the 12th game or whatever, she was showered with flowers because everybody wanted to reciprocate.
Yes.
That taught me, oh, I got chills. It just taught me such a huge lesson about reciprocation and how people want to give back to those that are giving to them. And I have to tell you, Barb, since I started implementing the stuff that we just talked about, like, not that I expect anything at closing, but all of a sudden my clients are giving me gifts and like really thoughtful gifts. They're watching my Instagram. My last closing, they gave me 4 large bags of Angie's Chickaboom popcorn.
Wow.
And they gave me this cookie dough stuff that they brought with them from Washington, D.C. And, it wasn't anything huge, but that made me feel so good. Another one gave me 25 pack of pens because I was complaining that my pens are always gone.
Yeah.
And it's that reciprocation that people, and it just goes back to that lesson in ninth grade.
I love that lesson you learned, because now you've been a gift to your clients and a gift to others. And I think that's brilliant. Okay. So they've closed escrow. You've done all the things. What does your marketing plan look like? Because I know you're like me, and you definitely do not forget those past clients, and they're a huge source of future business for you. So how are you staying in touch with your past clients, your sphere? What does your kind of monthly, annual marketing plan look like?
2 cards a day, Monday through Friday, 2 phone calls a day, Monday through Friday. That adds up to, like, I don't know, 200 and some per year. I mean, it's a lot of touches. So
Yeah.
if you just do that Monday through Friday, you can have your weekends. So that's one thing I do. Now, COVID kind of changed everything, right? So I'm kind of bobbing and weaving with that. But we were having at least 2 times a year client events.
Yep.
I would like to get that to quarterly. And now that I feel like things are opening back up, I'll probably implement that for 22, just so we can kind of see what's going on. 'Cause not gonna lie, I don't want to be the one to have that client party and then have everybody get sick and then
The
get
super
blamed.
spreader. I know. I know. Everyone's
Yes.
kind of tiptoeing around when's the right time to have a client party again.
Yes, but I plan to do 4 next year because I think we're going to be opening up here.
Yeah.
I would like to do a bingo event. That's something I'd like to do in the fall online, so we can do that. So we do the client events, and then I do pop buys. I mean, I did the Girl Scout cookies, and what's great about the Girl Scout cookies, although I will tell you, can I just say this? I was in Girl Scout cookie hell,
Right.
trying to drop them off everywhere, and
Right.
then I had a whole case melt in my car because
Oh
I
my
bought the
gosh.
peanut butter ones, which was just dumb. Always do the Thin Mints. Um, but I was dropping those off. And so now I'm ordering measuring tapes, beyond, your referrals are beyond measure to my business,
Love.
that sort of thing. Because that I can keep in my car and it's not going to go bad. And then when I'm around somebody's
Yeah.
house, I can just drop it off. I don't ring the bell and talk. I ding door ditch. I don't have time.
There's honestly, I mean, yeah, it's great to have conversations with people, but they're just as busy as we are. And sometimes it's just better. It's just the thought that counts.
Well, what I do is I ding door ditch and then I get in my car and I send them a text. And a lot of times, and I also believe that you attract people that are like you. I don't want to be bothered. So I think people actually like it. But I will tell you the other thing I do, and this has no rhyme or reason when I do it, but I do it about once a quarter. I You just know when the squeaky wheel needs to get some oil. Like you can feel when you haven't been active
Yep.
when you've been doing this. So I like to go onto my phone on my Starbucks app, and I like to go to you know where I'm going with the Starbucks. I load it up with like $150. I hit the pay. I take a screenshot. Now I go to Canva and I dress up that barcode, and then I used to put it on Facebook. And by the way, I made it open. And the first time it went swimmingly. I did it public. Everybody loved it. So I did it again. Second time, somebody in Tennessee spent $77 at Starbucks. And I chose to believe that those people were in need of a meal. And that was, that's what I chose to
Yeah,
believe.
I hear you.
But, first time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you. So now I text it. And I'll text it to different groups. So it might be a past client group, or it might be my mom's club group.
Love
I
it.
text it to some other agents sometimes. And I just say, hey, I've loaded $150 on this Starbucks card. First come, first serve. Please try to keep it to $5 or less per person so everybody can partake. And, it'll be good for 24 hours or whatever.
Love it.
People love it. They love it.
Absolutely love it. And when you are doing all of these touches, when you're connecting with everyone in your database, I'm assuming it's not just past clients and people you've worked with. You're also marketing specifically to your sphere, along with the people that you've actually sold real estate to.
Yes. So a lot of my sphere was from my old neighborhood, and I belonged to this mom's club. So, for example, whenever that mom's club had a fashion show, again, pre-COVID, they would ask for swag. Well, I thought about see, this is the thing about swag. People buy cheap stuff and then it gets thrown away. Like if
Yes.
you're going to buy swag, you need to spend $8, $10 per person.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So, you got to know the demographic. And I'm like, these women throw down like moms I've never seen. When I went to my first meeting, I'm not kidding, about 50 moms, about 55 bottles of wine that was gone through. So
wow, my kind of party.
Yes. So I ordered like not swig, but like a brand, something like that. And I put hashtag mom life on it, and then RVA Home Team brokered by EXP Realty below it. So that was in their swag bags. Well, then the following Friday, we had these things called Friday Fiestas. Well, all of the moms were carrying their wine and that swag. So that's something we've done. Another thing I did, there's this really cool wreath making thing that happens here around Christmas time, holiday time. I rented a Mercedes van and I took 15 of these women an hour away, and they made these wreaths. I provided champagne and some snacks on the bus. We went there for 2 or 3 hours. They made the wreaths, came back. We had the driver take us. So things like that really go above and beyond. And can I tell you one other thing I love?
You can tell me all you want, because I know everyone is just taking notes after notes after notes after notes, because you are giving them liquid gold. So yes, please continue.
This is my favorite. So when you're on Facebook, one, I make sure by the way, side note, people are always messaging me, how do you get so many comments? I give legit comments back when somebody comments to me. Like, if you take the time,
yes, have a conversation.
Yes, not just like a thumbs up, or, it really drives me nuts when I respond to somebody's post and then they don't acknowledge me. So I know if it irks me, it irks others. So I go onto Facebook, I make all these comments, and I'm strategic. I will go and look at certain people's posts. Well, when I find out that, prime example, some of those moms, I found out that they were at the beach, and I found out what restaurant they were going to. I called up the restaurant and I had 4 desserts sent over to their table when it was done, and I paid for it.
Love it.
I did that about 2 weeks ago with a client that I found out was at a brewery. I called the brewery, I gave them my credit card, and they sent some drinks over. But my absolute favorite is when you find out that your clients are going to Disney.
Yeah.
You can go to Disney Floral and Gifts, and you can tell them the dates they're going to be there and the hotel they're staying at, and they will have the gift in their room when they arrive. And I love to do the Mickey ears with the autograph book. It's not that much. It might be $25, $30.
So amazing.
But let me tell you, those people really they take pictures of it and they post it on Facebook.
Of course they do.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
Brilliant. I don't know how you come up with all of this. Do you sleep?
I do. And what's interesting is my mind just kind of works that way. People ask me that all the time. I didn't think I was a very creative person. What I am, I love people though. I'll tell you what I'm good at. I'm good at treating others how I would want to be treated. And I think of things that I would like. And I think if I like it, my vibe will attract my tribe. So if I like it, they'll probably like it.
Absolutely. Okay. What do you wish you would have known sooner?
No is a complete sentence. It's okay to say no. And this was my favorite. One of my old brokers taught me this. And I will tell you, when she told me this, I was pissed off for a very long time until I backed up and I was in the business for a while. Your job is to be a facilitator of a transaction. You are not part of that transaction.
Yes.
And too many agents insert themselves in there and they get mad when you deliver bad news. Y'all, I am just the messenger. I'm just trying to create a win-win. And she was like, you don't need to come in riding in on your white knight and pulling your sword and like having to fight. You can't want something more for somebody than they want it for themselves. And when I learned those couple of lessons, all of a sudden your job gets a lot easier.
Yeah, because you're not taking responsibility for delivering the message, right? It's the message is the message. What do you think, let's go back to marketing. What do you think agents are doing wrong in marketing? Like, what do you see or hear about that just makes you cringe?
It's I hate to use this word too, because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but for lack of better analogy, the used car salesman thing, the immediately getting the DM on Instagram. Hey girl, I'd like to, I was never really active on Instagram until Clubhouse. And now I'm understanding I just delete it, but it's the self-servingness of it. It is more, what they are doing wrong is the self-serving. They need to come from the Zig Ziglar, you can get everything that you want out of life if you just help others get what they want first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that like right now, what I see is I just see agents who are, in my opinion, using marketing and specifically social media to brag. They think they're bragging, but instead they're turning people off by I had 53 showings and 25 offers and it's so exhausting and woe is me. And I'm like, no one cares. And no one wants to hear that. And they think they're being cool by talking about how busy the market is. But at the same time, that's your freaking job, right? Does a surgeon go on Facebook and is like, oh my God, that 8-hour surgery was exhausting? No, they don't talk like that. That's their job.
I took out 20 gallbladders today.
Yeah, exactly. With 40 more lined up in the hallway. Like, they're not talking like that. They're pros.
Now, I'm guilty. I used to do it.
Yeah.
Right. I used to do it. And until I learned better. And I think when you start to have some self-awareness, and I think it also comes with age, there's a little bit of that. There's a little self-awareness. But I want to be honest and say, I used to be the one under contract. And then I was like, that's kind of like telling people I just went to the bathroom, you know? And I saw a girl today. I like her very, very much, but on Facebook, and she continuously does it. It's like the third time in a row. Won this for my client. We beat out multiple offers. And I know that they're trying to advertise themselves as this great agent. But number one, no crap that it's multiple offers. I mean, really, everything's multiple offers.
Yeah.
But number two, are you really a better agent, or did your client just have more money and more balls?
Exactly.
Sorry.
Or did your client do something that I believe is not right for buyers to do, right? With this
waiving inspections?
Yeah, waiving a ton of things that are inappropriate. And that'll get you the house, but it's also going to get you a lawsuit. And so I agree with you wholeheartedly. I've seen some really horrible things recently where agents are shaming other agents. Like, if you have to write more than 5 offers for your client, you aren't doing it right. And I just want to go mother hen on them and be like, excuse me, what market are you in? What price point? How competitive? What struggles does your client have as far as their financing or qualifications go? You know, maybe they don't have an extra $100,000 lying on the side to make up appraisal differences. I mean, you name it. And I think that is not doing anything for your business, because your clients aren't going to want to see that. That isn't going to impress anybody. So if you're out there doing that, friends, stop.
It's scary. I'll tell you, I won one today, and the agent called and he's like, you weren't the highest. He said you had good terms. We did not waive the inspection. Now, we mitigate risk. There are things that we can do to mitigate risk. Like, hey, I'm willing to absorb the first $5,000 of things, because that is a calculated risk that I will not recommend that anybody does something that I wouldn't personally do, and I would never waive an inspection. Not going to do it. Now, if you want to do it, after I educate you, I'll support you.
Yes.
You know, if that's what you want to do, but I'm going to make you sign a paper that says I told you not to do it.
Right. Well, that's the thing. We just have to be really careful how we are portraying ourselves online. And we really have to check ourselves and say, is this marketing for my ego, or is this marketing for truly trying to help someone or bring someone value? Like you mentioned earlier, right? We always need to come from a place of value. Okay. So what do you think agents, let's say they're not working relationally right now, they're still slinging internet leads and they're outdoor knocking and they're waiting for open houses in California, which, just got announced yesterday or last week. What does a new agent, whether new to the business or new to working relationally, where do you suggest they start? They want to be like Shannon one day. They want to be all systematized. Where do they need to start?
Well, I will say, I do think some agents in the beginning, there is attract and chase. I think you do need to chase something, but I think you need to find leads in a different way, like maybe a Facebook ad, right? That seems different to me than partnering with some of these big companies that are just taking your money.
Yeah.
So I think you do need to chase some, but if you want to start attracting, one, be the person, be there for somebody, be the resource. Start reaching out to your vendors and seeing it's free. What discounts could you give? Then start calling your sphere, your friends. If you're changing careers, it's amazing to me how people say, I don't really have a sphere. Yes, you do, because you either came from school or you came from a job
Yeah,
change.
you
And I
absolutely,
think
that's fair.
you just come from contribution. And, listen, when I stopped buying leads, it was a great experiment. Like I said to my husband, I'm either going to fail and fall flat on my face or it's going to be awesome.
Right.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I say start there. It's free. Call those vendors and then call your sphere, call those people and start to do that. Start to do the handwritten notes. That is like what, 59 cents for a stamp. I don't even know what a stamp costs. I buy them all the time.
Right.
Doesn't matter what they cost. I need to do that. But you might be in it for $1.50 between your note card and the handwritten note, and to call people just and then go on Facebook. It's amazing to me. Go on Facebook, on Instagram, and find those people and make legitimate comments, not like, oh, thumbs up or okay, but like, hey Barb, I saw you got a haircut. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Where do you
Yeah.
go? And then the
Absolutely.
key is once they respond and say where you go, then you respond again because then it brings you back up in the
Exactly.
algorithm. I get messages all the time from people that are not in real estate. They're like, I feel like you're constantly in my feed. And it's like, that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, or the next step from there is take it to the DMs. Take something that you
Yes.
see them posting online and send them a private message about it. Maybe expand a little bit more. Get into conversation. There's so much power by using what people are already posting on social media. Agents just they're not paying attention. I always say your clients are telling you everything you need to know online. The question is, are you listening? And to your point with the handwritten notes and the cards, I mean, that's why we started this marketing company that my husband and I just launched, because realtors need help in this area. And note cards are about the simplest thing you can do, but they literally will tell me, well, I don't know where to find them. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me right now? And so the power of that handwritten note and taking those 2 seconds to put pen to paper and tell someone that you're thinking about them, or you noticed them, or you saw something, or following up to a conversation. I mean, there's a million different reasons you can write a personal note, and just taking that time, it lingers. It has a lingering impact. People keep them forever, depending on what the note is. And at minimum, no one else is doing it. No one else is doing it.
I agree. And it's funny? People message me all the time, other agents, what are you putting in these notes? And I'm like, y'all are just overthinking it. Like,
Completely overthinking it.
hey, Barb, I was just thinking about you. I hope
Yep.
you're doing well. Who would have thought that a pandemic would make home take on a whole other meaning? I hope
Yep.
you know I'm still here for you. Should you need anything, have an amazing summer, Shannon. It's right there.
Oh, that's amazing. I think there's going to be a bunch of pause and rewind on that, if that's what you really call rewinding on a podcast, going backwards.
Yeah.
That was golden language she just gave you. So feel free to pause and go back and listen to that and write it down. That was brilliant. It's very similar to a text message that I send to generate conversations. And I will just go through my list of people to call for the day. And I'll reach out and I'll say, hey, Shannon, I was in your neighborhood today and I was thinking about you guys. How are you? How's the family? Hit send. And people tell me all the time, no one will respond. I'm like, they respond all day long. Yes, they
People
absolutely
respond to
respond.
texts.
They absolutely do respond. And then you get in a conversation. And then I always say that never negates hanging up, ending that conversation and taking it to the phone or to a face-to-face. I like to turn it into a coffee or a lunch. Like, hey, it's been great catching up with you. Would love to do this in person. Let's go have coffee or lunch. It's just about thinking about things differently. You are not your responsibility. My opinion on marketing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Our
Um,
responsibility for marketing property, just listed, just sold, is our responsibility under the listing contract with our seller. Our responsibility to market to our sphere is not just listed and just sold postcards. It's to deepen relationships and start conversations that lead to referrals, period. What do you think about that?
I mean, I couldn't say it any better. That's exactly how you do it and how you should be doing it because, it's funny when people ask why somebody gets into this business and they're always like, oh, because I really like houses. And it's like, see how that is after, 6 years. They all look the same. I don't care if it's $1 million house or $100,000 house.
100%. Yeah.
They're all the same. You have to do it I just have a heart for people and I have a skill set that allows me to help people get through something. And by the way, this really, can I just share this real quick?
Absolutely. Shannon's
I
ready.
post
Go for it.
I posted something on Facebook that talked about, I don't even know what it was, how hard the market was. And a broker came on there and said, the very first person, can you, you know what are you telling sellers out there? You're telling sellers that they can do it on their own, when you're saying how hard the market is. And I said, she's like, because, agents are losing their chickens. You know what I mean by chickens?
Yeah.
My response to that was, I have helped maybe 6 sellers this year that they found the buyers and they came to me,
absolutely, to facilitate,
giving me my
Yep.
chickens,
absolutely,
because my value is not in opening a door. It's in saving you time, money, and brain power.
Yep. And keeping you out of a lawsuit.
Yes. And people are not showing what an agent really does. And that goes back to the bad marketing, right? Because all you're doing is showing the used car salesman thing and those tactics. So if you are showing your value and showing that you are more than just a door opener, you don't have to worry about your chickens. You're going to have plenty of chickens and some eggs too.
1000%. 1000%. What do you think, to wrap up, in the next 12 to 24 months, what do you think? I mean, obviously we're going to be as relationally as we are right now, if not more. But in the next 12 to 24 months, as we know, this market will continue, but eventually hit a pivoting point. What do you think is going to be key to, continuing to keep your database confident in what we do as practitioners and marketing moving forward?
Staying in relation and keeping them up to date. I think when things are scary is the unknown.
Yeah.
So when you share your knowledge, that makes them feel better. And I will say, I think people are going to look even more to the relational agents and the relational thing. Listen, we just came out of COVID, where people for the last year and a half, they really had to learn what was important to them.
Yep.
And people are finding that that's relationships. They they have now been stuck in a house and they now realize and appreciate that human connection. So if you can provide that on a business level for people, that kind of connection, I think that's where we're going to go. I think it'll be even more video. I need to get BombBomb because I truly believe it's going to be more of that personalized, though, not just like a generic one to everybody, but personalized, and really educating people, because the market is going to change probably in 24 months or so. And when that happens, those people, listen, there's people that are out there like buying and need to sell in a year or two, and they just paid at the hype. They're going to be in a world of hurt, some of them, not all of them. And they are going to need your compassion, your empathy, and they're going to need your friendship and your stability that you can provide. And so I think the relationship's going to be even more important.
You are amazing. You have shared so graciously with not only myself, but the audience of listeners that are tuning into this. I cannot thank you enough. I just think you are a gem in our industry, and there needs to be more Shannons out there in the world. So I really hope that our audience enjoyed everything that you shared today. And I just want to thank you again so much.
Well, thank you for having me. I feel the same way about you. I feel so blessed. And here's what social media does do, right? It brings like-minded people together.
Absolutely.
I feel closer to you, frankly, than I do a lot of people that are physically around me. I love that it has brought us together, and I know your heart, and I know, frankly, I know I could call on you and count on you for anything. And that's because we have massaged that relationship now for a couple of years, and you got to take that online relationship offline. And we've done that Clubhouse, we've done that in person, we're doing this now on Zoom. And so I really appreciate being around people like you that also have figured this out, right? It's not like you just started this 5-6 years ago. You've been around sorry, but you've been around the corner a few times.
Absolutely.
And it's awesome to see you. I think you always need to find somebody, I don't want to say above you, I don't mean it like that, but somebody that is where you want to go and pick their brain. And so I've appreciated that about you. And by the way, the Wicked Good Cupcakes came because of something you did.
Well, Wicked Good Cupcakes is wicked good. So
I've never had one. I need to try it.
little
But
plug for Wicked Good Cupcakes. But no, what you just said is so true. It's about deepening the relationship, taking it offline. And it's proof that, friends, relationships also don't happen overnight, right? This is a long-term game. This is not make one phone call, send one text message, and you're going to get a referral. Yes. Does that happen? Yeah. But it's long-term. But those relationships that you build long-term will allow you to have a very, very, very good business, a very long career, and not constantly be reinventing yourself every single day, which is what I love about how we've chosen to market our business, right? We're not starting our business over every day, week, month, or year. It's like the snowball effect, and it just keeps gaining steam and momentum. You're constantly adding people to the snowball and it keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? And then you can pull back a little bit from some of the grind that we both had to do early in our career, right? But it doesn't happen overnight. Our relationship didn't happen because we met on Snapchat.
it's small deposits over time before you
Yes,
take any
yes, girl.
withdrawals.
Yes. Well, we could go on forever. So I just want to say again, thank you. And to everyone listening, if you enjoyed Shannon today, and you have any referrals for the Richmond, Virginia area, Shannon, where can they find you?
RVA Home Team on all social channels. I mean, if you put that in, or Shannon Milligan on Google, you'll find me.
Yep. And you can connect with her on Instagram, Facebook, Clubhouse. She's a huge sharer on Clubhouse. So definitely give Shannon a follow. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit the subscribe button so you can be notified of all our upcoming content that we provide. And most importantly, if you enjoyed today's episode of Real Estate by Relationship or any future episodes, please leave us a 5-star review. We would be so grateful for it. Thank you again, Shannon, for being here. I appreciate you so much. And to all of our loyal listeners, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you very soon. Bye, friends.